All right, folks, back on the Bossman show, going from Smithfield, Rhode Island to the Bryant Bulldogs, my man, Coach Phil Martelli Jr. on the Bossman show. Coach, good to see you, man. What's up there in Rhode Island with you guys?
Bossman, it's great to be with you. I really appreciate you, taking the time to talk here. And things are good. We're just diving headfirst into that transfer portal every single day this time of year.
I said, man, for you, man, I'm asking you, been around the game as long as you have, man. How has it changed with the NIL and the portal, having to kind of recruit your guys every day to make sure you keep them halfway happy and you still may not keep them? So how has that been, man? It's trying to this whole new world we're in of college hoops, man.
Yeah, it has changed dramatically the last, 3 or 4 or 5 years here with obviously the NIL stuff, with the transfer portal, really becoming wide open where pretty much anybody can transfer at any time. You have the COVID year, with guys still playing with the extra year. So it's been wild. I mean, it is so dramatically different than anything that I knew growing up around this game, with my father being a longtime coach and then, me coaching the last 20 years. It's really different, but you have to adapt and you have to adjust to it. And, I think we've done a good job of that. And, we have a history of dealing with transfers. It's just a little bit different now. In this program, and how you get them and the conversations you're having and the things that they're asking are different than what they asked, 4 or 5 years ago, because there is NIL and there is, well, who's coming and who's going. And, you look at rosters, you don't know who's on whose roster anymore, really until the first game of the season.
100%. It's kind of like you're almost a GM now. Kind of like you have your own live 2K game just because you got to each year is a whole new roster every year pretty much. It's kind of like a 1 year rental now. Hey, this is the roster this year. It'll be that way next year. So you have to kind of really have your eyes open to what's ahead of you and in the present as well.
No doubt. And it's funny because, it's crazy how things happen. I'm a firm believer in everything happens for a reason. And I was an assistant at the University of Delaware. We won our championship in 2014. Our head coach and we had a new AD. They didn't get along great. 2 years later, we were fired. And I was kind of in between. I didn't know where I was going to go, what I was going to do, and the college jobs that were presenting themselves weren't great. And I took a job with the Sixers that ultimately had me in the D League. At the time, it was the D League, now the G League. But we had 31 guys play for us in 50 games. And the way that was constructed very much leads to the way you construct your roster now. And what you try to do is keeping returning guys, but adding, hey, we need this piece, we need that piece. And what I keep saying is a lot of people go into the transfer portal. It's like the old, you remember you go to the arcade and there's the claw machine, right? You put your dollar in, the ball comes down and pulls something out. I think a lot of people have approached the transfer portal that way. They just put their dollar in, they let the claw drop, and whatever comes out, comes out. Where what we've tried to be is really intentional with what we're doing, who we're bringing in, who those guys are, what it looks like in terms of a fit for our program and our needs. And, we could get a commitment today that could change what that next need is. So we're not just going cookie cutter and just saying, oh, we're going to bring these 5 guys in and they don't really mesh. It has to mesh. So, we've tried to be really intentional with that. And that time in the D League, dealing with that and dealing with constant trades and waivers and this and that. And does this guy fit? And if he comes, then do we have to move that guy? That's how I feel now. That experience has really helped me with that.
And now back in our day, by then you almost same age, coach, but same age. It was October 15th when we started practicing. Now, At least you have them in the spring, summertime for 8 weeks now. And because we're having a whole new roster now, have to build chemistry in that mesh. So having the summertime, having the pre-fall practice time now, and to get this team together so you're not coming rolling the ball October 15th saying, hey, we had a game in 3 weeks. Let's try to make it work.
No, you're exactly right. It's funny you say that because right before we jumped on here, I was sitting at my desk and I was going through in my mind. I was like, what is that summer stuff going to look like? And not the basketball piece, but the chemistry piece. What are the things that we can do to kind of build that camaraderie, put them in different situations where they is it some community service? Is it some sort of, whatever, get them up in front of the team and kind of talk about their backgrounds and their lives, because that's really vital. Is you've got to find a way to build that chemistry and build that bond in a very, very short amount of time. And the summer, I think, is a great time to do that, because for the most part, you should have all your guys there, there's not class, there's not all that extra stuff. It's workouts, maybe they're taking one summer class, but the rest of their time, you have time to say, all right, let's come together and go do something. Let's go to, mini golf, whatever it is, just try to get them a
100%.
way to find, because they don't realize they've all been through things, you know, everyone goes through their stuff and they think, well, I'm the only person that's ever had to deal with this or go through this. And then you sit in a room, like we had 3 guys last year that I had in a room at one point. And I was like, you realize all 3 of you went through really tough seasons with injury, where you missed a season with a really bad injury. And how do you deal with that? And how'd you do? And they got them talking, and it's 3 guys that came from completely different places. That now all of a sudden they were like, oh yeah, I had that. Oh man, I did the same thing. And now you have that, there's that commonality and that bond. Because you have to find a way to manufacture it quick.
100%, coach. Like you said, man, and that's what helps you in them tough times during the year, man. Like, if this is truly my brother, we're on the same page, because I trust this guy. It's like, hey, close a few games, miss a bad shot, take a bad shot, have a horrible turnover. Hey, hold you accountable to my guys. It's coming from love, not hate, or I don't know where you're coming from with your child of me, because I don't know you like that. So it's very important to have that bond, because you can hold other accountable easier that way. They won't be hostile when you do.
No, there's no doubt. There's no doubt, because that's what they say it in coaching all the time, right? Like, they don't care what until they know you care. And it's the same with teammates. You know what I mean? It's the same with teammates, that the teammates you were closest with were the ones that you could get on the hardest, or could get on you the hardest. And there has to be that accountability. And it starts with the returning guys. And we got a good returning group. It really will start with them, and I'll put the onus on them when guys start coming in to say, look, you need to let them know, like, this is what we're about. This is who we're trying to be and what we're about. I'll preach it, but they've got to be in there every day, living it and echoing it. And I'm pretty confident with the group we have back that will happen.
And you're right about that, coach, man, because like I know when I played, us upperclassmen was doing it. We was ones holding everybody accountable. We've been there 2 years already, 3 or 4 years. We know what the deal was. And so we set that same culture. So you pass along to your underclassmen as well. We gave even to you. So I feel like we have a player-led situation where the culture from the players down, giving it to the young ones, you will have something sustainable. Now, of course, in our day, it was sustainable, not the whole every year in the team, but that having the guys who've been there to say, hey, I've been through this before. I know what this is about. I know what the dining hall is, how to do it, financial aid, records. All that stuff matters when you've been there already to help the guys who come in and do.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. And it's funny because we talk to those guys about that all the time. Like, just that comfort level, we've had a bunch of transfers take big jumps in 1 year, but the guys that have been with us for like 2 or 3 years, the jumps that they've taken, and I bring that same stuff up all the time. Like, just knowing where to go eat makes you feel more comfortable, helps you with keeps your mind clear, when you're on that court and when you're doing your work there. So that stuff is huge, and it does. You need those people that can kind of embrace those guys, those new guys, because they're coming into a new situation. They feel a certain way. They got certain anxiousness with that, and certain things that they're feeling, that you need somebody to put their arm around them and say, we got you. Here's where to go. Come with me. I'll show you where to go. I'll show you who to talk to. And, before you know it, you feel like you're at home, and that's what we want.
100%. And you know what, man? You have a history of winning up there at Bryant, man. So winning culture up there this year. You got 20 wins, 11-5 in the America East, coach. Talk about that, man. How proud are you winning, your team playing that well for you in year one for you, and winning that tough America East. I know Vermont usually wins the league. We got to be overcoming in the playoffs, but man, tough league. But you got 11 wins in that tough league, man.
Yeah, no, this was a really 1 through 9 really competitive year in the league. And I'm proud. I am proud. I keep saying, though, like, we have unbelievable support, and everywhere I go, whether it's when I leave my office on campus or when I'm in the community, at my kids' events or different things like that, people constantly come up and say, man, that was a good year. It was a good year. And it was a good year. And I'm appreciative of that. But we have a hunger that we want to have great years, and we want it to be, I want a year from now to be back on with you and be talking about a great year. And that's what we're striving for every day. So very proud and appreciative of the work that everybody did. Our administration, from our athletic director, Bill Smith, and his staff, up to our president, Ross Cattell, and his staff, the board of trustees, all these people were so super supportive of us. Our staff did an incredible job. I couldn't ask for a better group of guys to work with every day. And then our players, ultimately, they're the ones that win the games. Coaches just get in the way of that. They won the games. They went out there 20 times, put it on the line, and won. So, I'm very, very appreciative of everybody involved. And I appreciate hey, good year, good year, good year. I appreciate that. I'm thankful for everybody for those well wishes and that support. But I want to be talking about something bigger and better things, going forward. And that's what we're striving for every day.
100%. And now, Coach Martelli, since you have the schedule now, how are you going to go about trying to schedule these games, non-conference, where I don't have to raise some money for the school? So how do you kind of balance challenging your team in the non-conference, but getting them ready with some confidence for the American East as well?
Yeah. No, I mean, we had a really tough schedule this year and highlighted with winning on the road at Florida Atlantic when they were number 10 in the country. And I think we're the only team to beat them there in 2 or 3 years. So, that was certainly a highlight of the season. But, we always play a tough schedule. This past year it was Rutgers, it was Florida Atlantic, it was Ole Miss, it was Cincinnati, Xavier, Howard, came to us and went to the NCAA tournament. Towson was very good. Drexel was near the top of the Colonial or Coastal Athletic Association now. So, we play a tough schedule. To be honest with you, it's been hard for us to get games regionally. When we first got here and we weren't good, everybody wanted to play Bryant. And I guess it is a little bit of a compliment, but, it can be frustrating at times that, we're trying to get local, some of the local teams to play and they won't play, but I do get that too. And we'll play, we'll go pretty much anywhere. There's a couple schools down in Atlanta I'd love to play and get down there and see you in person, see you on the sidelines. So we'll go, especially places like that we can get direct out of Providence or out of Boston, and get down there. But we're putting it together. We still have, still waiting on some contracts and things, but, we'll have a similar schedule. We're going to play, really good high major teams. We're going to play really good mid-major teams. And I do believe that gets you ready. If we hadn't played that schedule we played this year, I don't know if we win 11 games. I don't know if we go into the environments we go into in league play and win or on those tough, 2 games in 3 days, if we'd be ready for that. So we try to schedule with an intent of being ready for those games.
Well, Coach, Pitt is my guy. It's Kennesaw Jones and I went to high school together, and Damon's a buddy, so I can definitely help you out with those guys, Coach.
Wow, how about that?
Yeah, it's funny seeing Amir, Jonas, and Jarvis, who I went to school with, Coach
Unbelievable, isn't it? No, it's unbelievable. And those guys have done a hell of a job. Each of them has done. They really have done a great job. So there's something. You guys found some secret to success. We should all be studying whatever was going on down there.
I was like, look here, you all can coach. At least when I have a radio show, I have longevity. I work against fire. I'm not gonna fire myself.
I like that. When I was growing up, when I got to the point, probably in about 7th, 8th grade, I realized, I either wanted to coach or I wanted to do what you're doing. So those were the 2 things. I wanted, like anybody growing up, I wanted to play in the NBA, but I started to get to like 8th grade and I'm looking around going, I don't see a whole lot of slow, unathletic 5'10" white guys in that NBA. So I don't know if it's going to work. So that was my fallback was coaching or do the media stuff. I love sports talk radio, so I was always listening to that. But yeah, there's plenty of days I think like, man, we could have reversed this. I could be doing this. You could be up here, chasing guys in and out of the portal.
Man, you know what, Coach? Funny, my dad was a coach. My dad was like, I didn't want to be the coach. So I said, Dad, I don't want. I'm too competitive, and plus, I'll probably get fired for cussing out, saying the wrong thing. So let me just be in the media because see, people who know me not laugh because I have a potty mouth off the air, but on the air, I keep it together.
Got to keep it clean. Yeah, there you go. That's it.
So they be like, "How do you keep on the air?" But we out having a drink. She just firing off F-bombs.
Oh, jeez.
So
That's
yeah,
funny.
man, it comes out, coach. It comes out, man. But yes, but I love this is the best gig in the world, man. And for you, let me ask you this, man. As growing up, I did having a coach as your father, man. How cool is it to watch games with your dad, seeing your dad chart things out, and kind of watch the game from different level as a kid? I know for me, I can't watch basketball like normal people do. I'm looking at what you're doing defensively, how they guarding the ball, you're doing on the backside here, front side. I'm looking at it from different perspective. So how's it for you trying to watch games, man, just as a fan? Look, for me, I have a hard time. I'm looking at different stuff, not just the game itself.
Yeah, I don't really watch it ever as a fan. I say it all the time. Like the one team that I say I'm a fan of is, and this will get me in trouble in Atlanta, is the Philadelphia Phillies. I love the Phillies because I can watch baseball as a fan. I can just sit there
Yes.
and watch the game and be invested in it as a fan. I can't do that with basketball, and whether it's watching a college game, a pro game, an AU game, you're either evaluating a player or you're watching a scheme or you're trying to pick something up. But I do love that part of it. I do love that part of it. Now, I will say it was way more stressful, and now my dad will get a taste of this now that he's retired and will be watching my games more intently. Like it's more stressful on that side. It's more stressful watching your loved one coach their team or whatever than it is actually in coaching, and coaching the games. Like I definitely prepared me for the stress level of like, all right, being invested and being locked in. But and now I have an eighth grade son who's 14, and I see it with him. Like, and he's so locked into even more so than I ever was. I think a lot of it's the internet and everything's so readily available that, when we were growing up, you couldn't do that. Like you watched whatever game was on TV, your local game, and maybe you caught Big Monday and there was a couple college games on, and but you couldn't go back and replay them or watch them. Where now he's coming to me with like, different schemes and different things people do. And I'm like, how do you know that? Like how do you, but so he's a coach in the making in and of itself. So yeah, it's hard to watch it as a fan, but I will watch the Phillies, whoop up on the Braves in the playoffs, when and I'll be a big fan then.
Man, it's fun story, coach. I was a Braves bat boy as
Were
a
you
kid.
really?
Yes. So
Wow.
I was around the 90s Braves, man.
Yeah.
So I got to see the Braves win a World Series as a bat
Yeah.
boy.
All the Chipper Jones and Andrew Jones and the
Yes.
Glavins and the Maddoxes and the man,
So in the
those
days
serious
when
years.
you have a Schilling versus Maddox matchup, the game was over in 2 hours. It was
Yes, yep.
like I
I was at
one.
game 6 in '93 with my dad and my brother. We were in the 700 level veteran, the veteran stadium in Philadelphia when the Phillies won in '93. And, we never won. So it was like to win that was crazy. And I remember leaving the parking lot and my dad trying to turn onto Broad Street. And there were just people everywhere, people on top of SEPTA buses, the public city bus. I mean, it was crazy. Um, but yeah, yeah, I love the Phillies. I love watching the Phillies. I love the little rivalry they got with the Braves now. I mean, the Braves get us in the regular season pretty good, but somehow we found a way to get them in the playoffs. So
Yeah. Do you remember this watching the Braves games on TBS at 7:35 after Fresh Prince of Bel Air?
7:35. Yep. Absolutely.
Then we watched WGN at 3:20 to watch the
You can watch
Cubs.
the Cubs. Yep. Uh-huh.
So those were the days we had those stations. He doesn't realize the Superstation days back when we grew up. Like we could watch two teams at least every
Yep.
day during summertime.
Yep. That is the truth. That is the truth. And the Cubs were always on during the day, so there was something on during the day, and Braves were at night. And for me, our local, Phillies were playing. You'd be able to watch them. Yeah, those were
And
great
then
times.
and then down here we got the sports channels. We get the Reds games too down here
Wow.
on the sports channel.
How about that?
Yeah, so it was, we got the Reds and the Braves when I was growing up down here, man. So yeah, another quick story, Coach. I was also Atlanta Hawks ball boy
Wow.
because the Hawks used to practice at Morehouse
Yeah.
up until 1999. So I grew up about 5 minutes from Morehouse. I'll be over there at practice watching the Hawks practice at Morehouse back in the day.
Wow.
So I've been
That's pretty
around
cool.
sports my whole life.
Yeah, that's pretty cool right there. Especially those times down in Atlanta. You had some good ones. A lot of Hall of Famers walking through those two organizations.
Yeah, hey, I can saw Jordan in '97. If you remember, we beat the Hawks. We beat them in Chicago. It was 1-1.
Yep.
I thought we had a chance. They came into the Omni and
Yep.
destroyed us that weekend.
Yep. Mike said, "No way, he wasn't letting that happen."
Yeah, so yes, I've seen some great basketball, man, and great baseball in my life. Not much of a Falcons guy. I don't really do with the Falcons, man, but yeah, the Hawks and Braves are my two teams for sure, man.
Oh, that's great.
Yes, and yes, indeed. Well, coach, man, I'm gonna ask you this, man, before we go. Last question for you. Like for you, man, when you're not coaching hard, man, chasing these kids in and out of gyms, man, how to kind of just get away from the game and just some time for you and your family, man.
Yeah, I'm just, I got 3 kids. My wife Megan she's a saint, and she played. Her dad's a high school coach, so we're always around it somehow, some way. But my 3 kids, Philip's 14, my daughter Mara just turned 12. She's in 6th grade, and then my little guy Nate is 6 years old. He's in kindergarten. So yeah, they're always, like I'm waiting on the text from my wife right now to say, hey, this afternoon, Mara's got soccer, then she's got dance, then she's got basketball, Philip's got basketball, Nate's got baseball, and we find a way. So, but I love it. I love watching them, do the things that they love, and having fun and just enjoying themselves. And yeah, that's really it for me. Like I'm not I don't have a whole lot of hobbies. I don't have a lot else. I obviously fully invested in our program here at Bryant, and fully invested in my family, really in probably reverse order, my family, then Bryant. But yeah, that's what I do. I just go, and we're at a kids game, a volleyball game, a soccer game, a baseball game, a basketball game, whatever, a dance recital, taking my little guy to a birthday party this week, whatever it is, that's kind of that's my downtime. And just sitting and hanging out with them, and relaxing is always a beautiful thing. And getting down to the Jersey Shore in the summertime, that's always my, in August, getting down there and taking a week or 10 days to get away and unwind. That's always my light at the end of the tunnel.
I hear that, brother. Hey, well, coach, hope I'll see you in the live period. I'll be at a Lake Point. I'll be at the Beach Jam and at Rock Hill. So hopefully I'll see you one of them events, man. We'll catch up, man. But it's good. Hey, I'll have you on the show, man. I was a big fan of your dad. Was at St. Joe's, man. So good to have you on the show as well. The relationship with you, man, going forward, brother.
Yeah, anytime, boss man. I really appreciate you.
Thanks, brother. Thank you so much for your time today, brother.
Absolutely. Thank you.
All right.